Hey, I'm Butterfly.
Hey, I'm Firefly.
Have you ever wondered if we aren't being told the truth about everything?
What have we been lied to about? Join us as we have conversations and ask questions about everything. We invite you to keep an open mind and consider the unfathomable.
Let's break the chains that enslave our minds. Come on, let's go down the rabbit hole.
What's Butterfly?
Hey, Firefly, what's going on?
We have a rabbit hole.
I know.
I'm glad.
This is like a like entrance and exit rabbit hole, I guess.
Yes.
It's got tentacles.
Well, we've gone to like the CIA rabbit hole section,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of them there.
Yeah, so we thought we would do a season 2 operation review,
And season 2 operation.
kind of like
Because,
a study guide
well,
for
yeah.
for
Well,
our
because what
listeners.
happened is we brought up the No Kings movement and we
Yeah,
talked about how that's Jonestown. But what is driving the No Kings movement?
Operation Mockingbird.
It's Operation Mockingbird.
Yeah, so a lot of
It's like they're mocking us.
these are like CIA operations that the government has actually like planned and instrumented and carried out, and
Yes.
a lot of them happened, and it was later, revealed that they were doing these things like a long time ago. But you know what? I
They're,
think a lot of them are still happening.
they are.
They're still
They
happening.
don't go away. They just
No.
get more strengthened. Like
They get more, you know what? I think they get sneakier.
they get sneakier.
You know what I mean?
But they're not disregarding anything they learned for sure.
No.
So let's start chronologically
Okay.
because we're going to do a review. So there's a few new ones and there's a few that we've already talked of. So let's go back to World War II and let's start because I think that's when the CIA was created in 1947.
Mhm.
So
Interesting how that happened a year before.
1948?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Is that a
That-
coincidence?
No. There was a lot of like, so the UN was created then. That country from 1948 was created then.
Yeah.
The CIA was created then. The FBI was created then. It's kind of a
They were
coincidence.
very busy.
It's all that evil stuff. And the UN was just like totally a bad idea.
Yeah.
So, anyways, and then Antarctica was decided it's off limits right around that time.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah. And
Looks like
every country agreed.
all 180 countries agreed. No one's going there. We gotta save the we gotta save the foreigners.
The penguins are need protection.
So the first CIA program that we want to review or even kind of incorporate is um, Manhattan Project.
Manhattan Project.
It's the Manhattan Project.
Okay.
So what is it?
Well, we kind of think maybe that was the beginning of brain shipping.
Could have
Instead,
been.
right?
Like that
You
was
know what I mean?
that was when people would go work on the
Yeah.
nuclear bomb.
Mm-hmm.
But we're thinking maybe you know, Ed Jones, who, because back in that time, he was probably a family man, had a beautiful wife and a couple of kids, and it was a baby boomer generation just taking off. So they had new appliances, they had cars. So he was happy. He wasn't somebody who was probably like really apt to go want to
Like be a psychopath
be a
and
psychopath
kill everybody.
and kill everybody.
Yeah. So I think the story that they kind of told was that every person involved in making this nuclear bomb, each person just had one little tiny job.
Yeah.
And so nobody really had like an idea of what the whole big picture was of what they were creating or whatever. Like
Yes.
it would be like if you were going to work every day and your job every day, all day long, was just to solder these like 3 capacitors to a circuit board or something. Like you had to do all of this every,
That's right.
and you didn't know like what you were actually like, what the circuit board was actually going to be doing. So, and everybody had like one little task. So that's kind of
And
their
there was
story.
maybe there was a few people who they had to kind of divulge the big picture to, but they were early brain chip.
So they were like severanced.
They were
So
severanced.
maybe they went to work and they knew what the big picture was, because in all of these
But
operations,
then they were programmed to go home and forget.
yeah,
Like they had Dory syndrome back then. So when they went home, their wife would be like, "How was your day?" "I don't know. What's for dinner?"
Yeah. So, I mean, our listeners can go back and listen to our Severance episode where we talk about this kind of thing
Yeah.
because I sort of had like a revelation before we did that episode.
Yeah.
Um, because with all of these operations, when they're doing like evil stuff, like to a huge like portion of the population, um, some people have to know what the big picture and the
Yeah.
whole plan is. Like, there may be a lot of people who are just like soldering two capacitors to a circuit board and they don't know. But somebody's got like the blueprints to
Yeah.
the plan, and I think it's more than just like one person. Somebody knows like what the plan is because
Tiffany,
they had.
Tiffany,
Oh, okay.
remember the baseball episode that we did? And we talked about how sports is rigged?
Yeah.
And the puppet masters rig things in real time
Mm-hmm.
as they need to.
Mm-hmm.
So they call down and they say, "Tell Shohei he's got to strike out this time." And he has to go up and strike out.
Mm-hmm.
And he has to swallow his honor. But what if they did the same thing with the severance program? So they only severance people on a need to severance basis.
Oh, yeah.
So some of these people might have been intelligent enough to like they're starting to solder these pieces together and they're going, "Are they putting together a nuclear bomb that's gonna kill a bunch of people?"
Yeah.
And then they go, "Ooh, excuse me, Mr. Smith, can you
Time to
yeah.
severance you.
Satan sits down with Mr. Smith, you're very intelligent, and that's actually a problem.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have this special chip put in, so now you're not gonna remember anything. So just be ready for that." So I think they had that because anytime they're talking about chips, they've already had it for
Yeah, they've probably had it for like
80
50
years.
years. Yeah, or 80.
Because have you noticed like a lot of stuff was invented back then,
I know.
and you're like, "What? Wi-Fi? Yeah, Wi-Fi. Tesla was gnarly."
Well, um, I think we're going to get into this for another episode too, but I think it was already invented like way before
That's right.
what you
Like
even
the
think.
Egyptians, maybe
Yeah, I think like
ancient
hundreds of years
technologies.
ago, there were ancient technologies and ancient civilizations that were way more advanced and they've wiped them out. And like we're sort of like a reset. They've reset and restarted like 200 years ago or 250 years ago when
What if the nuke wasn't even new technology?
it probably wasn't.
They were just building it.
And they were using technology that, had existed before. Maybe they even had the blueprints for it before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So anyway, my point
So
is,
that was Manhattan
yeah,
Project.
there's always people that have the blueprints. They have the plan. Somebody has created it. Somebody is the architect of these
You've
projects.
grappled with this a lot.
I
You've wondered
yeah.
how like so when walkers are used by the Culture Club, do they have the full understanding of the big picture, or are they just happy to be used by the Culture Club in whatever capacity and they just are oblivious to the big picture?
Well, I think there could be some of both, but you know what this is making me think about too? And yes, you're right. I do grapple because I have this thing where I like to understand how things work and the why. Like I always ask why, and I want to know. I'm not satisfied with just like, oh, somebody made a plan for it. I want to know how the plan came about and what was instrumental in making the plan and how it all came together. Like this makes me start thinking about, which this will be another episode too. Um, we've talked about how like do all the A-listers have to sell their soul to
Yes.
be an A-lister? And
Yes.
yes. So, you know how they always make these little signs and symbols with their hands and like they get their picture taken with
And
like,
Peggy Hall was talking about this.
yeah. And my question is, and I think maybe at some point I'm going to have a revelation about this, like I did with the nuclear bomb, and I thought people were severanced. That was my revelation.
That's right.
I think eventually maybe I'll figure this out, but I want to know, like, okay, when you sign your soul, you sell your soul and you sign the contract to the devil, like does somebody actually like give you like a pamphlet or something and say, okay, now here's the signs and symbols you need to make. And every time you get your picture taken, you need to do it this way? Like, I want to know how that happens? Does somebody
Well,
sit
I'm
them?
starting to think that just kind of like the baseball game gets rigged, it's done in real time. And Satan can call down to the dugout and say, take Shohei out, put in this
So
guy.
you think like somebody might call like, Charlie Kirk and say, okay, during this speech, we want you to give the 666 sign.
Mhm. That's right.
And they don't ever go, who is this calling me? And
Like
why would I give that sign during my picture? I'm not sure
like
why.
Peggy Hall's
You know
talking
what I
about
mean?
some podcaster who suddenly has millions of followers. And then she notices a picture surfacing where he's making some kind of a Illuminati symbol,
Hmm.
right? With his hands.
Yeah,
He gets told to go out and do that. And then the photograph is foisted on people.
right.
That's done on purpose because they communicate to their cult member friends with those, but then also they're revealing the method.
Yeah,
So anytime you see something on the internet, it's because Satan goes, good, good, good. Here, I'm showing you this.
totally.
You know what I'm saying?
But I still like, I want to know how it's done. Like, do they, you know what? Oh, epiphany. Maybe this is it. They all have handlers. Have
Yes.
you noticed this?
Yes.
So maybe their handlers are the ones that work directly with like either Satan or one of Satan's minions, and
Yes.
they're told what they have to get done and what has to be out there. And the handlers tell the people, like, okay, you need to do this. And maybe like they even just give them another reason for it. Maybe they tell them, like, let
You know who
everybody
could be?
know
I
you're in
think
the.
a common handler is a wife.
Oh, yeah.
I
Like
think
Chris Kardashian, I guess, was the handler for.
Satan
Yeah.
assigns wives.
Hmm.
Satan assigns wives. And then the wife is a culture club member and she controls the husband. So she probably gets marching orders. And then, while she's laying out his clothes in the morning, she's saying, by the way, Satan gave me an email. You have to send out these hand signals today.
And the husband never, he just never questions it. He just goes, okay, honey, what's for dinner?
I think a lot of them do because they're like, well, I don't want to rock the boat. I'm getting paid good money and,
And I'm getting sex.
I
Yeah.
got sex. She takes care of me. So I think that's totally what's going
Well,
on.
could be.
So that's okay.
We kind of went on a side trip there.
Well, the Manhattan Project kind of is a rabbit hole. We
Yeah.
haven't really talked about that, but
Yeah.
that's totally the dynamics of the nuclear bomb, I think, are Severance. I think
Yeah.
Severance is a good explainer for how people could do something evil like that.
Yeah. And I think we're gonna find that I think the severance concept, which could either be brainwashing or brain chipping, kind of probably happens in a lot of these CIA operations because it sort of answers a lot of questions to the whole warp speed one. Do we want to jump ahead to that or you want to stay
Well,
chronological?
let's stay chronological.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so we had and then there was the Philadelphia experiment.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a conundrum.
That's cool.
It's a mystery because I guess like they're saying that maybe this never even happened. Like that it was a conspiracy theory. But
Which makes me
what makes us think, oh,
that's exactly what happened.
yeah, yeah.
And you got to understand that the Culture Club is speaking fluent lie. So when they tell you it probably never happened,
You know it happened. Want it to stay secret.
like they have these fact checkers. What?
Oh my gosh. Well, so the project was about how they supposedly made a ship go invisible, right?
Mhm.
And now they want us to think that that didn't happen.
Oh,
Remember that?
Mandela
No.
effect.
Remember the Malaysia flight?
Oh yeah,
The Malaysia
that
flight that
disappeared.
disappeared? I heard people talking that said they saw a plane and then it completely disappeared.
And weren't you saying 9/11 kind of had an aspect of that too?
Yeah. So maybe,
Where the planes disappeared, but then the explosions were just on the building,
yeah,
but there was no plane. Like, have you ever seen those pictures from 9/11? Which I mean could be AI, but it's the explosion with no plane.
yeah, totally. So maybe they actually have the ability to make things invisible.
Disappear.
Isn't that creepy? How can they do that?
And maybe it's ancient technology.
That that to me seems way advanced. Like that had to be technology from ancient times. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Like maybe Atlantis was a real thing and it had those types of technologies.
Yeah,
Who knows? But that was the nature of that program, the Philadelphia experiment. And when you go look it up,
they're like, "Oh, it's a
Satan
conspiracy
goes,
theory."
just move on. This
Yeah,
didn't happen.
don't look.
Yeah,
Mm,
well, that means kind of like, that means maybe they can do that. That's gnarly.
that's gnarly.
So they can just have a boat completely disappear and then reappear.
Yeah, because what
That's
I
crazy.
was reading was a lot of the people on that ship were saying that they experienced like, sudden nausea, dizziness. Some people said they fell through floors and stuff, like
You know,
crazy stuff.
how I watch my paranormal activity videos?
Yeah.
So I was watching one and uh this could be fake.
Hmm.
All of them could be fake.
Right.
But so the lady's got like a security cam on her museum and she's, watching it and a Dr. Pepper can comes flying out of one of her pictures.
That's weird.
Just materializes out of the picture and then goes on the ground. And she's like, I mean,
She must have really wanted a Dr. Pepper.
she goes, I don't even drink Dr. Pepper. We didn't have any Dr. Pepper in the house. All of a sudden, this Dr. Pepper manifested into our dimension. I'm wondering if, Epiphany,
What? Finish your thought.
I'm wondering if, I'm wondering if CERN's mission to open up portals is an ongoing mission.
Well, this seems like a minor like event, but do you remember that story I told you about the disappearing jackets at that store? Do you remember we talked about that? That I went back the next day and the entire rack was gone and not one single person who worked there had any recollection of this jacket that
You
I
didn't
was
tell me about that. Did you tell me about
I think we talked about it in a very early episode.
that?
It
Okay.
was very strange. I went to this store and yeah,
You
and
went, where are the jackets I saw yesterday? They're like, what jackets are you talking about?
I went back the next day to buy this as a gift, and there was an entire rack the day before, and it was a very specific jacket. And I went in the next day to buy it, and they were nowhere to be seen. And I asked everybody in the store. I talked to the manager of the department, and she had no recollection of these jackets. And I know, and then I started thinking I was like crazy. I was like, am I like losing my mind?
You became Ingrid Bergman.
I became Ingrid Bergman. It was so gaslighting. I thought, okay, did I just like really trip out and like I don't remember the jacket that I saw? It was a very specific kind of
What
jacket.
if they're doing those types of things?
So then
They're experimenting with that.
I asked the person I was like going to buy this for, I said, "Do you remember that jacket you tried on at the store?" And they were like, "Yeah." And I said, because the whole point was that this jacket had red sleeves, okay? And when I went, they didn't have any like that. And so I asked this person when I got home, I said, "Do you remember that jacket?" And they were like, "Yeah." I'm like, "What color were the sleeves?" And they said red. And I asked what was on, it had a very specific patch on the chest. And the person explained it to me. And those jackets were not there. I was explaining those in detail to the people that worked there, and nobody knew. And I even went online and tried to find it. It was not online. This is like a major chain store. There was none online. And I called the customer service and told the person my story. And she was like, maybe you could go ask for the security footage. And I was tempted to do that, but I figured they would never show it to me.
What? And you probably wouldn't.
I probably
It'd be
should have
like
asked her.
Epstein, he just happened to die while the cameras were down. Those jackets got moved while the cameras were down.
Yeah, but
Or they've omitted it. Because remember
but
Winston?
it was such a weird event, and since then I've like seen reports of this type of thing happening to other people.
Is that the Mandela effect? I think that's the definition of
Is
the Mandela
that
effect.
Is that the Mandela effect?
Yeah, the definition of the Mandela effect is that you remember things that now the media is portraying as never existed and
Mhm.
making you question your own mind, you know?
Yeah. It was weird. I mean, this was a physical an object. It wasn't just like something I talked about. It was something that I saw and felt and touched, and not just me, but somebody I was with saw the same exact thing. And then all of it disappeared.
So remember Winston
Yeah.
in 1984?
1984.
Where did he work? He worked in the Ministry of Truth,
Yeah.
which is an Orwellian term
Yeah.
for we go
Telling lies.
we curate the news and we curate history in real time.
Hmm.
So maybe those jackets, for some reason or another, had to be omitted because
From reality.
maybe there's things that are just items, but they will cause people to go, wait a minute, and they can't have that.
Hmm.
Because if you say, wait a minute, then you're going to go, well, because
Maybe, oh my gosh, epiphany.
honey.
Maybe, you know how we talked about how this was, I think, in our Fate and Destiny episode, we
Mhm.
talked about how everybody should have a purpose and maybe everything is destined.
Yeah.
So maybe um, something was going to happen when people wore these jackets, or even maybe just one person who bought this jacket
See?
was going to spark something to happen. And the plan in this matrix is for that not to happen.
Satan said, no,
We
no,
can't have that happen.
that's going to lead to a chain reaction. Let's just go ahead and eliminate
Let's
those.
eliminate that one item.
And,
Oh my gosh, could you imagine like if everything plan is down to the minute detail of like
is that completely beyond the
jacket
pale?
in a store?
Is that completely beyond the pale? When
I
you look at
mean,
the micromanagement that's taking place, I don't think I'm a bad person, but I
yeah,
don't think that's beyond the pale.
that is micromanagement, like major
You
micromanagement.
know what that is? It's perception management. Satan's managing your perception and also getting you to question your own mind. Like you said, that is lulling you into this confused state where
Mhm.
you're manipulatable.
Right.
So, anyways, so that is the Philadelphia experiment. So
Mhm.
those were both taking place back in World War II era. So then there's another CIA program from that era, Paperclip.
Paperclip.
Tell me about Paperclip.
Paperclip. Why was it called paperclip?
I'm not sure, but it
That
was
was,
basically all of the evil scientists and doctors that were part of the Nazi regime, at least were told,
yeah.
they got taken over into our country to go work in our CIA.
Yeah. So they became the CIA. Isn't that interesting?
Because Satan
Because
was
those
like,
were nice guys.
yeah, Satan was like, no, 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 no. He does good stuff. He was
It,
like sewing up women's, whats, and
oh,
he was torturing people. So that's good work. So we want him to have him.
yeah.
Yeah,
Those are the best of the best.
yeah. Because now America's going to be the superpower. So we got to have evil people like him here. So I think Paperclip might be where MK Ultra was born, and
Oh,
Operation Mockingbird and Bluebeam.
yeah.
I think all of these were born by these evil Nazis that came over here and were like,
Totally.
well, we were working with genetically purifying, what do they call that? When they're genetically purifying,
Oh,
that term from the 30s.
yeah, where they want to like have like the superior race, the superior human race.
Eugenics.
Eugenics.
Yeah.
Is that
So,
what is
eugenics.
that what you're referring to?
Hmm.
Okay, but that's where you like kill off certain portions of
Eugenics is
the
this notion of racial purity.
yeah,
Racial purity.
yeah.
And this, well, those are the real barbarian. Which no, I'm not going to espouse that. But so, anyways, I think what happened is so we had Operation Philadelphia Experiment, we had Manhattan Project, and then we had Paperclip. I think Paperclip was when they had all these evil scientists come over here, and
Totally.
that they kind of spitballed some ideas.
And they made up a bunch of more evil stuff.
They did.
Like I think the next one was, which I'm sure is still 100% sure this is still going on, MK Ultra.
So MK Ultra. Okay, so MK Ultra, I'm starting to think. probably was conceived of in that milieu, in
Yes.
the post World War II milieu.
Mm.
And then by the time Kathy O'Brien got into it, she wasn't a pioneer. There was
No.
already
I think
kids.
that was going on for a long time because they've been studying, so they love to study like this and study
They don't
psychology and
study, but MK Ultra, the studying is really interesting. It's very specific. So they take a 5-year-old, they rape and torture the 5-year-old, and then they go, good, good, good. Now look,
look how he's acting.
look at what we can do.
Yeah.
Now, oh, look. So the trauma was so gnarly that he actually had like a personality split, and now he's compartmentalized that trauma. So now we can actually take one of his alter egos and use it to blackmail people. Good, good, good.
Yeah. And manipulate them.
Manipulate. Good, good, good.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the research that they were
Hmm.
doing. So it probably took a while,
Yeah.
but then pretty soon they had Sirhan Sirhan.
Right. Sirhan, Sirhan.
So Sirhan, he's one of those shooters where um the government comes out and goes, "Whoa, we were in touch with him."
It's the same playbook all these years. Yeah. We were in touch with him.
Like
We knew he was
he
trouble.
fell off a horse and then he was in the hospital for about 8 months from that. It's like that's kind of weird. 8 months is an extended stay.
Yeah.
So
Broken leg.
what was going on in there every
Yeah.
day? So I think that was when they said, "Good, good, good, come here." So they whatever they did to Sirhan in those 8 months, they trained his mind to be activated.
Right.
And so what we're suggesting, so for people who haven't, this is the season 2 operation review.
Yes.
So let's unpack it just for those who haven't listened.
Mhm.
So Sirhan was the patsy that was basically
Accused.
blamed and accused for he was
Killing.
framed
Yeah.
for
Framed.
killing RFK. So what he actually did was he went into the Imperial Hotel that day in 1968, and there was a big boob girl sitting at the bar, and she was seductive.
They always have these girls.
They're there.
Is that what's called a honeypot?
That's a honeypot. So the poor unsuspecting victim, he walks in and there she is.
She's beautiful and she's flirty.
She's flirty and beautiful. And then now he's having 4 drinks, but he's from Palestine and never really drank.
Mm.
So that's out of his comfort zone.
That was probably some kind of brainwashing too, like to make him do that. You know
That's
what I mean?
crazy. See
Mhm.
the manipulation they have of these
Mhm.
people? So Sirhan, what made him susceptible to being used by the Culture Club is there was 2 character traits that were very specific. What were they? Do you remember?
He was highly hypnotizable, they said.
He was highly hypnotizable. He was also um, dis.
Disassociated.
He could be disassociated. What
Yeah.
is that?
That
What's disassociation?
that means that he can like totally separate himself from where he is, right? He can believe that
So
he's in a different place.
yeah, so he walks into the hotel and there she is, and he has 4 drinks and he's flirting with her. And then what does she do?
He pinches him.
She pinches him.
Yeah.
And so he's activated.
That was his activation.
So now when he's activated, he goes into his disassociation.
Hmm.
And in his disassociation, what he testified to this guy in the 80s is that he disassociated that he was at a shooting range in San Bernardino.
He believed he was at a shooting range.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
So in your mind, you can have like this complete hallucination consume you so that you actually think you're in a completely different environment.
Right.
And he walked into a room in the Imperial Hotel that no one was in, and he started firing blindly,
Hmm.
thinking he was at a firing range in San Bernardino. Nowhere near RFK. During the melee that ensued, the real shooters came in and killed RFK. And Sirhan was a patsy that took the fall.
He was the fall guy.
He was the fall guy.
Yeah.
So, what we have hypothesized about MK Ultra is that they were able to do that with Sirhan, but now what can they do?
They can do it on a mass scale.
They can do it on a mass scale, and that's what you saw with the No Kings.
Yeah.
The No
And the
Kings
cooties.
and the Cooties, but the No Kings is a kind of a prescient experience or episode. So the No Kings thing means that, in my opinion, all of those people are kind of Sirhan Sirhan.
Mhm.
They're all down
They were
to
active. Well, and this is what happened recently too with all of the remember we talked about this on our cockroach episode? The people that were like throwing Molotov cocktails off the freeways and stuff.
yes on
They
Harbor Freeway.
they were activated. Or what about during the Summer of Love?
Summer love.
Those people were activated,
Yeah, like
you
remember
know?
we always talk about the dude who's beating the crap out of the self checkout register at Target in
Yeah,
Minneapolis.
yeah,
And it's like, okay, you're not gonna get money from that.
no.
Most people use their card, so that's an MK Ultra kind of like activation.
And you know what? I think a lot of people, I think they've really, um, kind of got this technique down now where they can actually successfully MK Ultra on a mass scale. And like, I actually kind of experienced a friend who I think was activated during that whole thing because
Really?
remember I told you about that friend who I said, "Oh gosh, it's horrible that they're burning down cities and people's businesses." And this friend of mine like got really mad at me. It was like he had been
Because
totally it was weird. Like I thought, wow,
Those people
he's
are
been
justified in
radicalized.
doing that. They're
Yeah,
not, those are mostly peaceful
yeah.
protests.
It was weird. It was weird. So I think
They're expressing their
a lot
voice.
of people like can be activated in this way.
Totally.
Mhm.
So MK Ultra was a gnarly program where they raped and tortured 5-year-olds and then figured out that they could mind control. It's not brainwashing. MK
No,
Ultra, there's a distinction that needs to be made.
yeah,
There's a difference between brainwashing
and mind control.
and mind control.
Yeah, and MK Ultra mind control, they use trauma. And we saw this during Cooties. They
Cool.
traumatized the world by, flashing like on the news constantly, on the Mockingbird news, um, all the cases and,
No,
people
but
are
remember what
dying,
was the very first trauma? It was Chinese dudes convulsing.
dropping like flies in the gutter,
Remember?
in the gutter.
And they're like in the street flopping around, which I didn't actually see that happen to people in my area, but who knows?
Yeah.
But so that is the trauma, you know. Another time that we talked about trauma that was back in that time was remember that dude that was on Joe Rogan and he was talking about the reporting of the Vietnam War and how
Yeah.
the reporting was different than the World War II era. So the World War II era, they would go look at the newsreels and
Yeah.
they would be in the movie theater.
Yeah.
But you kind of had to go pay for that and probably only got it in small doses.
You were only seeing that maybe once in a while.
It was still traumatizing, but it wasn't that gnarly. Whereas during the 60s, Walter Cronkite was in your living room coming through the TV showing you Americans dying every single night for the entire decade. That was deeply traumatizing for the entire generation.
And so, see how it's gotten insidious and much worse over the years. So, in the 60s, Walter Cronkite, as you said, came into your living room and gave you like the 6 o'clock news or whatever every
Yes.
day. But now people are watching it all day long.
You
Like,
carry your phone around.
yeah, you can turn on the TV and have the news all day long, or you can look at your phone
Like I
and
told you
see
about my sister
your
is
sister. She's having like the IV
so
drip of CNN,
so in the house while she's making breakfast and cleaning up, she's got MSNBC blasting so the whole house you can hear it.
and she's
But
got it.
then now we're gonna go out and I'm going, thank God we're gonna go out and go cruise around. But no, in the car it's on.
It's on all the time.
So now it's that much easier because I think now they've got the trauma down to a science.
Huh.
Now they can just do keywords. Like maybe no kings is a trauma.
I think it is. It's a trigger.
Because they're like, oh, I'm a slave.
Yeah.
I'm a slave. He's a dictator. And
Yeah.
then they go out and they go. So it's all trauma based. And I think MK Ultra might be the most profound CIA operation because I think that's the one they use the most. Because
what they found is you can traumatize people, and then once they're traumatized, they're what? They're easily manipulated.
Yeah, I think MK Ultra is the really prevalent one that they're using all the time. I think it's for sure being used in Hollywood, in music. I think a lot of these people are being MK Ultra mind controlled. And then, like, when we see somebody snap or get like crazy, I think that's maybe when they're,
Activation.
yeah, or they're trying to break out of it and
Think
they're
about
not
how many
alone.
different ways that we're being traumatized. We talked about how um, it's even traumatizing to be insecure, to be raised to believe that you're not desirable and you're not sexy. Nobody wants
So
you.
maybe you're trans.
Maybe you're trans because so that's what we talked about. So like they render you that's traumatizing.
Hmm.
To be insecure is a fear because what's insecurity is fear of rejection.
Right.
And rejection is very terrifying. So now you're going to go, okay, I'm scared of that. And Satan goes, good, good, good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, come into this LGB Bumblebee XYZ. And so they're still using MK Ultra.
Yeah.
It's still very important to their work.
I think it's one of their most successful tools because they've figured out now how to like use it
Yeah.
in a mass scale, and they can control the population this way.
And I think that and controlled opposition is their two big weapons.
Totally.
But I don't want to get into controlled opposition, but then we want to get into the next program, which was the alien ET attack.
Project Blue Beam.
Which is again kind of a trauma based
Yeah,
because ET's attacking.
and it's scary.
It's scary. And then now, in my opinion, I'm a bad person. And Anthony Fauci says if we keep letting these conspiracy theorists talk, then you can kiss civilization bye bye. But I got a conspiracy theory. I think that all these crafts, these unidentified crafts,
Yeah.
they're being made by DARPA.
You think they're Project Blue Beam? So what that was like
Yeah,
holograms.
they're
They're fake.
holograms, or they actually made some things that are, they have gnarly flying capabilities. So people go, I've never seen that before. That must be ET.
Yeah. But actually what it is some government thing that they just concocted. Yeah.
So what they're trying to say is, oh no, ET's going to attack, and we're all going to have to join together as humanity to fight him off. And during that time, they're going to corral us all into their 15-minute cities because
For our safety.
it's for your safety.
Mhm.
ET's coming.
And we need to have 24/7 surveillance for your safety.
Like Lucinda Ardern says, we'd prefer if you didn't watch the sunset.
Yeah.
ET's coming.
And also, by the way, we have to have digital currency. And if you step out of
Yeah.
line, you just won't have any points to buy food next week. So, but it's all
And Larry
crazy.
Ellison is like, by the way, with the now that ET's here, you're gonna have to get our AI pokey.
Yeah.
It's an anti-ET pokey.
Yeah.
So they're going to be using that. As a matter of fact, we've been kind of suggesting that that might be getting rolled out here pretty soon
Right.
because what we've kind of what we've kind of hypothesized is that the population has been um, rendered into a fertile state for them to completely psyop them.
Yeah. Well, most of the population is in a super stupor.
They're in a super stupor. They're walkers. So they're the ones that are going to disassociate. And when the holograms start, and you and I go out there and say, that's fake,
Mhm.
they're going to go, butterfly, look,
It's right there.
it's right there. You're a conspiracy theorist. That's right there. So they're going to disassociate it, and then they're going to think it's real. And then people who tell them that it's not real, it's going to be like when you tell them not to get the pokies.
Right. Totally.
So
So,
then the final one,
well, not the final one. Well, did we talk about Mockingbird?
that's the one.
But there's one after that
Is
too.
there one after
I
that?
think there's probably a few that maybe we aren't aware of yet.
Okay,
But
so what's next?
Mockingbird
Yes.
is all of the media talking in the same exact tone, using the same script all the time.
And remember we
Saying
talked
the
about
same thing.
Satan says, No, 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 no. You do not take any creative license with this.
No, you stick to the script verbatim.
Verbatim.
Yeah.
Because what I'm starting to think is, remember we talked about the Tavistock Institute?
Mm-hmm.
And that was created in 1905, and the whole purpose of that was to brainwash people into getting involved in World War One, which was not a good war for us to get involved in. So, what I think they've learned is that specific words have power
Right.
over the people who've been. I think that it's kind of a what I'm starting to think is it's kind of like a cake. People need to be kind of prepared and then put into the oven. So, the way that the cake works is first you have to be traumatized.
Mhm.
Then you have to be kind of lulled into this suggestive state.
Right.
Then you get the lies foisted
Then you
on you.
then you add the lies. It's like you're right, like a cake. Like you have to like mix the wet ingredients and then you like
Yeah.
add in the dry ingredients and
So
yeah.
those key words for someone like us who's red pilled, we haven't been rendered into that state. So it doesn't have the impact on us.
Yeah.
But if you went and got the pokies and you're one of those people who doesn't make up your own mind until you get your marching orders from MSNBC, then you are going to hear key words that activate you.
Exactly.
That was the other thing that. So remember, we talked about Sirhan. Sirhan had character traits that made him susceptible.
Hmm.
One of them you mentioned was he's hypnotizable and he's disassociative. I think you have to train somebody to become that way. They have to be very, very pliable. But there was another trait that he had. What was the other one?
Um,
He's compliant.
oh yeah, compliance, which I think a lot of people are.
That's it.
They
They went and got the pokies, and you were there telling the guy with his son, hey, 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 look at that. And he was like, wow, I didn't know that. Okay, well, let's go on, come on, son.
yeah. I'm like showing him the list of side effects and he's like, "Wow, I never knew about these
I
things.
didn't
I
know
never heard
that.
about this. Okay, son, let's
This
go
could kill me and my
let's go
son.
on
That's interesting.
let's
Thank
go
you.
on inside and go get our
Let's go. Come on, son. So I think that's what happens is they're compliant.
yeah, no matter what you show them that would, show them something that's not going along with what the mainstream is telling them. It doesn't matter what you show them or tell them, they're just going to comply.
No data
No
will
data will
change
change
their
their
mind.
mind. Yeah.
So therefore, if no data changes their mind, then Satan goes, good, good, good. This person has been rendered into the state that we want. Now the Mockingbird media, with their specific words, is going to activate them. And what you see with the No Kings is the Mockingbird media got all those people to head out to the corner.
Yeah, and they all had signs that said all the same things that the news was saying.
It was,
Same exact,
and
verbatim.
it's another bird analogy, kind of like
Yeah.
your birds being tagged out on the island, invasive species, but they were parroting the Mockingbird
They
media.
were. There's a lot of birds in these stories. Yeah,
Because they're parroting the Mockingbird.
totally.
So, okay, what was the last one then? Was there
Well,
another one?
well, one of the most recent ones, and like I said, I'm sure there's some other ones that we aren't aware of
Operation
yet.
Warp
Yeah,
Speed.
warp
And now
speed.
you're going to hear like there's going to be some guy who's in the Trump cult that's celebrating the wins. He's going to come up and he's going to go, excuse me, excuse me, excuse me. Operation Warp Speed was done by NIH and the CDC. Has nothing to do with the CIA. And it's like, dude, keep drinking that Kool-Aid.
Mhm.
The CDC and the CIA are both run by Satan.
They're all the same. Yeah,
Satan has the corner office, and those are two different divisions.
right.
So Operation Warp Speed, tell me about that.
Well,
How was that a CIA operation?
that was Trump's like he's like so proud of that. Like he thinks that he created it.
What does he say? He goes, "We saved millions of lives.
Yeah.
We saved millions of lives. It usually takes 10 years to get a drug approved.
But we just skipped through all that. We
It
just
took about 3 weeks.
we cut through all that red tape and we jumped the line and just like rolled it out like
And that's
overnight.
why, because then it came out, and this was like right around the same time, email correspondences from Dr. Fauci that said, we got our, what did he call them? He called them infusions. We
Oh,
got the infusions there already.
So they had them locked and loaded. I think it was like 1999.
Oh
My
my
spider
gosh.
senses want to tell me. So they already had these things all locked and loaded.
Hmm.
So Operation Warp Speed was completely predicated on a lie.
Yeah.
And Trump can't say he's ignorant because I'm sitting here armchairing it, looking at the
Well, and also it's like that whole thing about like, oh, we just skip through all the testing and everything like that. Like, I mean, I don't know if they actually even test any of this stuff anyway, because they don't seem to care that like stuff kills people. But
they test it to see how deadly it
how
can
like how many people can we kill with this? But yeah, I mean, like, are they really going to admit to like skipping all the testing and then like what are they doing with the aftermath of all these side effects and deaths? Like I don't know if you want to admit to that. Like
Well, I don't understand.
we skipped through all the testing and we just like rolled it out.
I was talking to a Trump supporter the other day, and I was like, Operation Warp Speed. And, and then the Trump supporter was like this. Oh, I am really upset with him for that. But look at the wins.
Yeah.
It's
We have to
like,
forgive that. It's like, my husband beats me up all the time, but you know what? He's a really good barbecue guy.
he's good at
And he makes really
barbecuing,
good ribs.
and he's got lots of wins in the
Yeah.
bedroom. So,
He was really
okay.
good in bed. So,
So
I
I put up
forgive
with it.
I forgive him for all the black eyes.
Okay, well, so you're overlooking two glaring evils that Trump did. One of them is the Pokies were already locked and loaded. So this whole notion of we're fast tracking warp speed. Why was it called warp speed? It was called warp speed because apparently they were fast tracking the Pokies and getting them to market, right?
Right.
Which was completely a lie. They were already locked and loaded from 1999. What's the other lie? What's the other lie? It was we can't mandate pokies unless there's no other viable treatments.
Right.
But there was viable treatments.
Yeah.
What were the viable treatments?
There were a lot of them.
Hydroxychloroquine,
Ivermectin.
ivermectin, and then, like you said, there's a lot of them. There's a host of them.
Yeah.
They had this one dude down in Texas, and he was having great outcomes with this like inhaler.
Well, what about just the fact that this whole thing was only actually killing like 0.00002% of the population anyway, and was, just another flu or whatever that people get. You
Oh,
know what I
that's
mean?
another thing
So,
too. It's like very coincidentally, the flu numbers for 2021,
disappeared.
2022, they completely dropped down to zero. But just the perfect amount of COVID deaths were corresponding with like prior flu numbers.
Yeah, and I remember trying to show that to a couple of friends and who were like, oh my God, the cooties is killing all these people, and I'm like, but look at like nobody's dying of flu this year, and they just didn't seem to be able to grasp the idea
They
that
can grasp
they
it. I
had
think
just
what they
changed
do
the
is
names, like they changed the flu name to cooties.
so you go and you tell that wife, you go, he's cheating on you. And she goes, no, he's not. He's good in bed and he's good in barbecuing and he's paying the bills. He's not cheating on me. And you go, look, he's on that show Cheaters. And here's that guy going, hey, what do you have to say to your wife?
We have
You know what I'm
camera
saying? Here he is.
camera footage of it.
They had sex in a Tesla, and the Tesla has a camera in the windshield.
We have the
So
whole
here
thing
it
on
is.
tape.
Yeah. They don't want to see it.
No.
You show it to her, and she goes, okay, yes, but no.
Yeah.
That's what I think they do.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, but no.
Yeah.
Because data that bursts bubbles is data that walkers don't want to see.
Right.
So that was Operation Warp Speed. It was predicated on these two huge lies, and you tell a Trump supporter these huge lies, and they just go, "Yeah, but look at the wins." But no, look at how insidious it is. So you're saying we're we're going to mandate this shot that nobody knows what's in it, and it's going to be predicated on the fact that we have no alternative treatments, but we do. That's an insidious lie.
Hmm.
And they just kind of go, yeah, but DEI is getting, dismantled. And
That's just being turned into a different name too.
I was talking with another Trump supporter, and don't get me wrong, Trump supporters are drunk on beer, so you can kind of talk to him.
Yeah.
And I love my friend, but he's, totally drinking the Kool-Aid. And he was trying to tell me, oh, no, 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 you don't understand. That is all going away. And he was talking about all of the political correct. You know how corporate America has abandoned meritocracy for several decades? There's
Hmm.
no such thing as meritocracy anymore.
Yeah.
Everything is politically correct.
Right.
Everything's culture club.
Yeah.
He was going, no, 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 no. Trump's changed all that. Now corporate America is going to go back to complete meritocracy. And I'm just going, dude, you're drinking Kool-Aid, bro. I mean, to believe that.
They are. There's a lot of Kool-Aid
You
out
just see
there.
Trump going and talking to Netanyahu on video like over the weekend, and he's going, Bibi, you're doing such a great job. You're just Bibi, you're amazing. Calling him Bibi.
I know. Is that even really his name?
I don't know.
That sounds like a fake nickname to me.
Well, first of all, he's not from Israel. He's from Poland.
I know.
And that's not his name.
And
Netanyahu's not his name.
and actually, most of those guys they all graduated from American universities. Have you noticed that?
He's probably got dual citizenship. I
Yeah,
got a wife in another area.
probably. Just like all our politicians have dual citizenship.
Dude, why?
I don't
Why
know.
is that allowed?
That's a whole other
What if you want to?
episode.
And you know what? I bet it's a special stipulation where only for that country from 1948. Like, you're gonna tell me like Shohei Ohtani can have Japanese and American citizens? Oh, I guess he can. He probably can.
Yeah, but you made a good analogy when we talked about that before. These politicians that have dual citizenship, it's like if Otani was on the Angels and the Dodgers at the same time.
Yeah,
And
literally.
he's like pitching on the Dodgers to the Angels, but then he's like hitting on the Angels.
Like he leaves the
He
mound
leaves
and
them out.
goes and starts warming up in the
Yeah,
batter's box.
he's got to change his shirt to red.
Yeah, and that's how these people are doing.
Yeah.
These people are completely
But
betraying
but you
us.
know what I think the difference is? I think maybe Otani would play fairly on each side, whereas I don't think our politicians are.
No,
You know what I mean?
no. People like Chuck Schumer. Chuck Schumer hasn't done anything like upright and decent since 1963.
Even maybe not even then.
Not even that. Yeah.
But
So I think that pretty much catches us up on our review.
I think that does. So the big question is what operations do you think are they working on right now as we speak that we don't know of yet?
Well, remember we talked about it. We're probably living it.
We're probably living it.
What was it called?
Oh my gosh, that's right. We did an episode on this.
What was it called?
What was it called?
Operation Disassociation.
Yes.
And what we're saying is 25 years from now, they'll be like, well, Operation Disassociation was rolled out in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you think about it, if you think about it, the disassociation is the aspect of it. So when you go and when you have a big group of people that is disassociating, now you can control them.
Exactly. Perfect. Well, I think that's a great place to end it, and
That was a good unpack.
we'll just have to consider what other operations might be going on right now at this moment in time.
It'll come up again.
It will. All right, that was great.
Good seeing you.
You too.
Okay.
Bye.